As we all know, running attacks in Dark Souls 2 are totally underpowered and not worth using ever. Except, that's a lie of course. If Dark Souls 1 is Backstab, the game, then Dark Souls 2 is Running Attack, the game. Running attacks are probably the most used attack in roguelike, and for a good reason. With many weapons, they are quick, cover a lot of distance, do high poise damage, and often have comparatively short recovery frames. You can even cut off some of those recovery frames by recovery cancelling. Pretty broken shit, huh? Welcome everyone to a way to make running attacks even more powerful than they already are. You all know how running attacks look, right? Well, what if I told you they can look like this? Yep, you're seeing correctly. This running attack has a block animation and actual block frames. How do you do that? Let's take a few steps back. A few months ago, YouTuber Tobio uploaded his first advanced technique video, covering 180 degrees running attacks, working on the principle of reverse backstabs. If you don't know this technique, check out Tobio's videos, you will learn a lot from him. I'll leave a link in the description. The gist of it is, you do a reverse backstab towards your opponent, then block to instantly turn around and do a running attack out of your backstab. How do you turn that into a blocking running attack? There seem to be two factors at play here. The first is the button inputs. What you do is, you do a reverse backstab, and only when you're in the absolute last few frames of this backstab do you press block, forward and R1 at the same time. This is what it looks like from the front. This technique is not completely new. As my friend Robin told me, there was a video from a Japanese uploader who already showed something similar like this. I'll link to that video in the description. This video led to some members of the community experimenting with the technique. However, no one seemed to be able to reproduce it consistently enough to make it worth anyone's while. To show that it can be done somewhat consistently, I'll leave this unedited footage playing. You be the judge if that is consistent or not. And before you ask, of course it also works with katanas. Why wouldn't it? So what is the second factor then? Well, this is the point where shit is getting really weird. As you saw in the footage before, I have the timing down to a point where I can perform this technique probably 8 times out of 10. But here's the thing. When I load up my character or fast travel to a different area, I initially cannot perform this technique at all. I have tried again and again the last few days, and here's what I have found, and seriously guys, this stuff makes absolutely no sense. To make this work, I have to spend all my stamina with the last attack that brings me into negative stamina being a jumping attack. When I'm in negative stamina, I hold block until my stamina starts to regenerate. After that, I can perform this technique semi-consistently again. What also sometimes works is using a consumable item like Estus or Poison Moss, then immediately do the blocking running attack. Although this doesn't produce a result as consistent as with the other way shown. At this point, I don't know what to think anymore. All I can tell you is, you have to glitch something with the block mechanic every time you move to a different area. I have never had it work just straight up, but as soon as you can pull off this technique once, you will be able to perform it somewhat consistently until you change the area again. I wish I could give you a bit more conclusive information, but this is what I was able to find out on my own. If this intrigues you as much as it does me, maybe you want to test this for yourself. I'd be glad to hear about your results. Please help me solve this riddle. It's driving me nuts here.